Hey YouTube, it's ICU and welcome to the 69th episode of Best Tech Info and Rumors. And I have a lot of things to cover in this episode, but first I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for helping me reach 100,000 subscribers. That was a big goal for me and I really appreciate it, and obviously I couldn't have done it without you guys. So to start off the news, I want to talk about the jailbreak status. First of all, I just wanted to clarify that there is an untethered jailbreak for the iPhone 4, iPhone 3GS, iPod Touch 4th and 3rd generation, as well as the first iPad. So I will have a link to that down below in the more info. And there's also an untethered jailbreak for the Apple TV 2nd generation on 4.4.4, which is basically like the Apple TV equivalent to iOS 5.0.1. And I did do a tutorial on that as well, and I will have a link to that down below in the more info. So now we're actually going to start talking about the untethered jailbreak for A5 based devices, which would be the iPhone 4S and the iPad 2. For those of you that don't know, Pod2G was actually the one who created the untethered exploit that's in the current jailbreak for the older devices, and he's actually been working on the untethered jailbreak for 5.0.1 on the latest A5 devices. And he actually released details on Corona and Red Snow, which were the two utilities used to jailbreak the older devices, and he also briefly touched on the new A5 jailbreak that he's been working on. And 3 days ago on the 3rd, he announced on Twitter that he made a step for the A5 jailbreak, and with some luck we should expect to see a release within about a week. However, after that, he answered some frequently asked questions on his blog that led a lot of people to believe that he wouldn't actually be able to deliver the untethered A5 jailbreak within a week. And basically that's because he said that the exploit that he had been using to actually jailbreak the iPhone 4S and the iPad 2 relied on an Apple developer account. And obviously it's not practical for him to release that because not everybody has a developer account, and I highly doubt anyone would actually be able to implement it anyway. And he said that the reason he was able to release the untethered jailbreak for older devices is because there was already a tethered jailbreak in place, and he said it was a lot easier for him to release an untethered jailbreak with the tethered jailbreak already out. And he can't do that with the iPhone 4S and the iPad 2 because a tethered jailbreak relies on a boot ROM exploit that actually has to be patched with a hardware update and cannot be patched with a simple software update, such as an update from iOS 5 to 5.0.1. And they have not found a tethered exploit or a boot ROM exploit for the iPhone 4S or the iPad 2, which again are the two A5 based devices. So again, after people read his FAQ, they started to lose hope. However, today morale is high within the jailbreak community because Pod2G did announce on his blog that he has teamed up with Muscle Nerd from the iPhone dev team, POSIX Ninja from the Chronic dev team, and Planet Being, who has been behind a lot of the jailbreaks and who actually worked on Linux development for the iPhone. So with this super team, hopefully they should be able to find a way to release the untethered jailbreak to the public without the need for a developer account. So it looks like Pod2G might be back on schedule for his loose deadline, but again, keep in mind that it might take them longer to actually get the jailbreak together and release it. So with that said, we're actually going to move on and talk about the Mobile X hack for the Apple TV. So earlier this week, developers Stephen Troughton-Smith and the Mudkip actually announced that they've been working on a project to replace the Apple TV Springboard with Mobile X. And Mobile X is basically a window manager for iOS, and it comes with the great benefit of allowing the Apple TV to run iOS applications. Now at first they released a demonstration of applications running side by side on the Apple TV 2nd generation. However, after that, they did actually show that the Apple TV had the capability to run the applications in native 720p mode. So they were running iPad applications on the Apple TV, and the resolution scaled up to 720p, and the potential for the Apple TV because of this is almost limitless, because you will actually be able to use it for a multitude of different things. And when developers finally get in, they can finally open it up and start releasing applications specifically for the Apple TV. It will become an extremely powerful platform. But again, in order to do this, Stephen Troughton-Smith and the Mudkip have to finish up their work with getting Mobile X working properly on the Apple TV. And Redmond Pie actually interviewed Stephen Troughton-Smith on the Apple TV Mobile X hack, and there's some pretty good information in that, so I'll have a link to that that down below in the more info. Also, LG revealed their new 55-inch OLED TV that supposedly performs up to 1,000 times faster than regular LED and LCD displays. It's also said to have a 4mm bezel, which is just half the thickness of the iPad 2, have an infinite contrast ratio, and weigh only 16.5 pounds. So this is definitely the future of home entertainment and the future of the television and the way we'll start to see things go into the future. And this is basically the biggest and best performing OLED consumer display in history, and LG will talk about it more and actually demo it at CES this year. Moving on to sort of an iPhone 5 rumor, a highly informed analyst claims that an LTE 4G capable iPhone 5 will bring in more revenue for Apple than the iPad 3 or the rumored iTV. The analyst also claims to have sources within the Apple supply chain, and he claims that we will see LTE 4G support in Apple's next generation iPhone, and it will also sport a thinner and sleeker profile with a slightly bigger screen. But again, we are some ways away from Apple's next generation iPhone, and this is really one of the first iPhone 5 rumors that actually hold some validity. And again, I will keep you guys updated whenever there's a new and believable iPhone 5 or next generation iPhone rumor. And somewhat along the same lines, Jeremy Horowitz from iLounge claims that he has inside information about Apple's next generation iPad, presumably the iPad 3, and he says that it will offer improved HD cameras as well as a high definition Retina display and a slightly different design due to the hardware changes that will supposedly add slight bulk to Apple's next generation tablet. Also, a pretty interesting video emerged yesterday. Basically, it was of an iPad with a G-Form Extreme Edge case on it, and attached to it was a camera and a special balloon. Now, what they did in the video is they actually released the iPad, and it went up to about 100,000 feet above the Earth's surface, and the balloon popped due to the difference of pressure, and obviously the iPad fell, and they tracked it, and they found it, and it was actually fine and intact. Now, even though the term space was used loosely in this video and in this demonstration, and it was about 1/3 of the distance of what technically is considered space, it's still amazing to see that the iPad can withstand that. And I know there has been a lot of speculation around this video and whether or not it's actually real. However, you certainly have to take a couple of things into consideration in this video, such as the fact that objects only speed up to a certain point before maintaining the same speed, and the fact that some of the other things attached to the iPad could have absorbed the shock, such as the camera mount and the camera itself. And it probably also had an ideal landing, and that's why nothing happened to it. Also, 9to5Mac actually discovered reference lines in a hidden panel that was buried deep inside of iOS 5.1 beta, suggesting that Apple's actually testing a quad-core processor in iOS-based devices. So I'm not going to go too much into depth on this, but you guys can check out the article for it, and I will have that down below in the more info. Also, you guys should check out TechMan TV's Top 30 Cydia Tweaks of 2011 video, and I'll have a link to that down below, as well as a link to my Top 11 Tech of 2011 video, so just be sure to check those out. And that's it for today's episode. And as always, I'll have links to everything I talked about in today's episode down below in the more info, and don't forget that you can enter the giveaway I'm doing in collaboration with Friday Night Cranks to possibly win a brand new iPhone 4S in this video. And I'll have a link to our new website, fncicu.com, down below in the more info, which has details on how you can actually enter the giveaway through this video. So I know I haven't done this in a while, but for the question of the day, let me know down below in the comment section what you guys thought about that G-Form case video, whether or not you thought it was real and why or why not. Also, remember to hit that subscribe button to be updated every time I release a new video, and to be updated more often, just be sure to follow my Twitter accounts, Facebook fan page, and add me to one of your circles inside of Google+. Until next time, this is ICU, signing out.